Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the playlist Data Trends. And in today's video, this is my YouTube channel, guys, and please do like and subscribe and show your love by watching or by like giving a like or a comment. Well, in today's video, we are going to talk about data flow diagram and process diagrams. Well, by definition, data flow, you have already assumed that flow of data from one point to another. So that is a data flow. Process diagram is all about is defining the process, which means if you want to implement a new way of working, then a process diagram has to be mapped out. If one has to know how this report has to get implemented, then means suppose a fuel report or a kilometer report, how one has to implement in the organization, then there has to be process diagram for it from the source to the target as well as to the end customer also. So all that element also has to be included in the process diagram. Well, to start with, there is a misconception, and people always get confused with data flow diagram and data lineage. So, to mitigate that, well, data flow diagram is all about talking about an implemented system and what happens from the source to the target. So what do I mean by implemented system is like, for example, if a new guy comes into walks into a company and already there is a Azure pipeline setup done, then the person has to understand, the newcomer has to understand from where the data started and where it ended. So, and that has to be documented from with the previous guy who created it should document it. So the pipeline which is already there, it's an implemented system, and the transformation happening from the source to the destination, that is what the new guy has to know. So drawing all those transformation steps is called a data flow diagram. It's just a simple diagram. Whereas data lineage is tracking mechanisms of various data origins. Means suppose there is a big data warehouse and there are a lot of multiple data origins and destinations, then enlisting everything is called data lineage. So data lineage is on a bigger scale that is not implemented, and it's a new project. So there data lineage has to be created, or or data flow diagram needs to be created. So data lineage is all, it's a bigger, it's not the same as data flow diagram, because data flow diagram is with the implemented system. Data lineage can be with a non-implemented system also, like mapping out on a notebook and showcasing before it is done. But that one has to understand. Okay, coming to data flow diagram. Well, I will not bore you guys with lot of text, and I will directly go into the topic. Well, there are numerous ways to draw a data flow diagram. One is Jordan, second is Gain and Sarson, third is SSADM, that is Structured System Analysis Design Method, and fourth is Jordan and Co. Each each technique has its method, each ways or each method has its own blocks. This is what I call blocks, like entity block, process block, data source block, where both the ends are open. Whereas in gain and Sarson, data store has this kind of diagrams, or these are the entities that has to be used in gain and Sarson. Well, this kind of diagrams blocks has to be used in SSADM. So the numerous ways is just numerous ways, or numerous blocks that needs to be used in the diagram. That is it. Well, in today's topic, I will not go into anything specific, but maybe I will take Gain and Sarson as the basis. Then I will show how I draw in the current period, how I do in Visio, the application that I use. Well, in all of the techniques, all of the methods, you see four things in common. There is one entity, there is process, there is data store. The last, the arrow ones are the data flows. So entities represents, it could be like could be outside system or application or an organization or a table. It could represent anything. It could be a table, it could be an application, it could be multiple applications, it could be something outside the system. Whereas processes can be, it can be manual or automated. It's a transformation technique. What calculation or measures used to be in the next step. Data store has always input and output, and data flow representation of data. It's like a data flow. These are the arrows. Data store means where the data is stored, or data. this block is used for data input as well as data output, whereas processes are for like all the transformation steps. Entities are like the blocks from where the data started, like starting table or starting application or something. We'll be going into the detail in the next slides. So there are different levels of data flow diagrams. Well, guys, I will not go into a lot of complexity, but to just to show that there are four levels. That is context diagrams, level one diagrams, level two diagram, level zero diagram, level one and level two. These are the four levels that data flow diagram generally has. Context diagram is like overall, okay, this is the start, I need this is the end. For example, an entity, system, and last one entity, because an application, where what is happening and where it is stored at the end, because entity represents a table also. So the final is a table also here. Okay, in the context diagram, mainly the components used are entities, process, and flow. So entities, this is the process block, and this is the entity block. These are the data flow arrows. In level 0, it is more detailed. Level 1, it is like, as you can see, entity. So the processes are broken down into further details. In level 1, it is more detail, like you have processes and then you have sub processes. And in level 2, there are activities to the sub processes. But then, yeah, it all depends on the project, the what the data engineer thinks to design the, to what level the description or the details has to be shown as a part of documentation. Well, guys, I leave this to you, because generally I document till to an extent where a 1 year or 2 year experienced guy can already knows what needs to be done. I don't document till the extent of a fresher. So it really depends on you guys. This is just I'm showing you that what generally happens in data flow diagram. Rest depends on the person who is creating this. Well, some of the best practices I would definitely like to discuss, and here is a link to an YouTube channel where it inspired me to create this video. Well, and all the credits also goes to that person. Well, data must not flow between two entities, which means like you cannot place two entities other side by side to each other, and data flow is happening from one table to another, which means, because then there is no transformation step there is only copy step happening. Data must not flow between two data stores, like from one database to another. You shouldn't copy, there should be a process in between. Data must not flow from an external entity directly to a data store. This one I disagree, but then it depends on the end user or the person who is creating a data flow, a process. Because for an example, maybe that database is with an external client, and I want to copy the data from their data lake to my data lake first. So that can be, yeah, as a part of data flow diagram also. A process must have both input and output. A data store must have both input and output. Number of processes in a data flow diagram should not exceed 12. I also disagree with this, because for me, if the project is a bigger, if it to a large scale project, then yeah, it will exceed more than 12. All processes must not be linked to at least one data store or another process in the system. Okay, so these are the some best practices or rules that one need to take into consideration. But it can also be that uh, you need not follow it, because it depends on your business unit or your organization, what are the way of working is, and to what level the data flow diagram needs to be documented. Well, all of the boring stuff, and let's start drawing. But before that, I would also like to discuss about the process. Okay, let's start. Let's leave the process flow diagram for a later stage and directly go to Visio. Well, the application that I use for data flow diagrams is Visio, Microsoft Visio, and here Already there are a lot of templates available. For example, this is a template one can download and edit it here only for their project. And also there are readily available templates online. Like this is the website, or this is the site where featured Visio templates and diagrams are available. And one can already download one template, and like for example, I downloaded this one, and it opens in Visio automatically by saving this to your one document. And for example, I created my own own data flow, not a data flow diagram, but it's a kind of a flow diagram for job cards. Well, here I have shown blocks which are not discussed in in my previous slides, but as you can see, Visio offers a lot of blocks, different blocks that you can download to use it to show your process. And as I said, that it really depends on you to what extent you want to describe the process or the flow. One can use, there are multiple objects that can be used. There is no limit in Visio. That's why I like Visio, because it provides a lot of opportunities, lot of diagrams like matrix flow diagrams, cycle diagram shapes, etc. etc. So overall, it's always better to practice and learn rather than someone saying to you. It's just I wanted to give you the all the knowledge that is around Visio, because Visio is a very easy software. So all the blocks are available here. You can click on any block, then it's all about drag and drop and delete, and yeah, you can create multiple pages. You can zoom in, zoom out, and accordingly you can create your own process flow diagrams or data flow diagrams. And also Visio offers two type of licenses, that is the standard license and the professional license. In Visio, the standard license doesn't have a block, because as you can see here, there is no data flow diagram block here. So generally I do not use uh, uh, these blocks for data flow diagrams, whereas rather I use the simple blocks for data flow diagrams. These blocks are available in Visio Professional. So if you can get a professional license, then you can already have access to this kind of blocks. And one can already find those. I will give this link in the description box. And data flow, as you can see, the, that in Visio Professional license, they provide all kind of this kind of blocks. Okay, enough about data flow diagrams. Well, it's easy peasy, and it depends. It's just you have to spend or you have to document for one project. Then you already know what needs to be done. For process flow diagrams, data flow diagram is different, and process flow diagram are different. For process flow diagrams, I use Archimate, and also I use Visio. But initially, when I didn't have access to Visio, so I was using Archimate. Archimate, I can explain in detail. I just will give a brief overview of it so that you already know. But my suggestion will be to use Microsoft Visio rather than Archimate. Archimate provides, well, Archimate is an old application and it's a free software that can be downloaded by anyone. Uh, but in the old days, I was using Archimate, but now I'm using Visio. In short, Archimate has three layers. One is the IT layer, which is the hardware layer that is below the application layer, and then the application layer, and then the business layer. Business layer is all about insights and analytics. Application layer is about which applications are used to extract data, and the hardware layer is about like RTS, remote desktop server, or a hard drive, or a shadow drive, or something. So in short, but it has its own limitations, so I will not recommend to use Archimate rather than use Visio for creating the processes, because it provides ample opportunities and a lot of options, as well as it is easy to use, and it is cloud. You don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about for saving or deleting, or because you can already if you can work with a team, and you can share ideas easily. And if it is deleted, then you can retrieve it also. So overall, that is what I wanted to share with you guys. And have a nice day, guys, and keep learning and keep going. Thank you, guys, and we'll see each other in the next video. Please do like and subscribe. And this is my YouTube channel, Lazy Yogis, and show your love. That's it. Have a nice day.